this WrestleTalk news, fans hijack Raw, networks frustrated with WWE, why Ric Flair was released, and my review of last night's Raw. I can't believe I'm going to do this. Years, I've been trying to crack how to get people to subscribe on YouTube. The only place I didn't crack was my dignity. But the 3 times I've danced for subs over the last 2 weeks has given us our best growth for the last 12 months. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news. What am I doing with my life?
Support WrestleTalk!
Fans returned to live WWE shows 3 weeks ago now, which can only mean one thing. Their 3-week push is over and Vince McMahon is already annoyed with them. Not quite being able to let go of the Thunderdome era, where WWE's production could give them any crowd reaction they wanted. Both Raw and SmackDown TV episodes are still piping in artificial cheers and boos because the live fans aren't getting behind the right people. How could you not cheer for Jackson Riker? There's like absolutely zero baggage there. But 3 weeks into being on the road again, the WWE state propaganda machine came up against its toughest challenge yet. People who live in Chicago, a wonderful city that arguably has the best wrestling crowds in the world. And given the recent rumors of their prodigal son CM Punk's debut in AEW and Saturday's release of Bray Wyatt, they had more than enough material to go on. Videos posted on Twitter from people there live show the crowd already chanting loudly for CM Punk during the main event tapings that took place before Raw. In the episode itself, the fans almost hijacked the Miz TV segment, with Damian Priest nearly being thrown off his script. And during the opening Bobby Lashley and Goldberg segment, really proving how much the fans want to see Goldberg, the audience chanted, "We want Wyatt." To combat this, WWE's production team had their own on-demand crowd reaction soundboard, trying to drown out the Wyatt and Punk chants for the TV broadcast, along with making some wrestlers' receptions sound bigger than they were. Problem is, someone must have clicked on the wrong MP3 file. For the hipster children, an MP3 file is like a vinyl record that's not on Spotify. During Drew McIntyre's entrance, WWE played thunderous crowd reaction clip number 8, which didn't appear fake at all. Unfortunately, in that reaction, viewers at home could hear Michael Cole say, "the 16-time world champion," suggesting the audio was taken from a John Cena entrance using Cole's commentary. Do you like artificial crowd noise in WWE shows, or does it really take you out of the action once you notice it? Let me know in the comments down below, where I'll be replying to people for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live. From out of nowhere. As much as they probably want to, though, WWE can't also pipe in crowd noise over their Zoom meetings with TV networks. According to Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast, there has been a lot of frustration from the networks regarding Bray Wyatt's release. Quoting a network source who said Bray's release is really disappointing and a little scary that top stars are being let go. This is just the latest instance of WWE's TV partners being unhappy with what they've paid for, in the face of record low ratings this year, and trying to juggle limited star power between the competing Fox and USA network. As I showed at the end of my news yesterday, where I made a joke that Ric Flair would get released next, I can tell the future. I speculated he was unhappy with the latest storyline he did, which was why he left, based on an interview Flair did this year, where he admitted he really didn't like the Lacey Evans stuff, has now also been pretty much confirmed by Fightful Select, who write Rick grew frustrated with certain booking decisions that were fairly recent. Let's see if I can make it 3 for 3 with predictions. Juventud Guerrera to face Kenny Omega at All Out. I'm on the juice train. Now it's time for my review of last night's Raw in about 5 minutes. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the $100 Man CD Horver and the Cyclone Brandon Sires. You can get your own shout out by visiting us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. First off, WWE, you might want to take out that Ric Flair woo on the opening sting. Secondly, you might also not want to book Goldberg in major title feuds going forward, as it's not just the fans who don't care, who chanted for Bray Wyatt during his opening segment. Neither Goldberg or Bobby Lashley seemed to be into it either. Not even Sundberg looked excited. Goldberg came out for a face-to-face with Bobby, where he crammed in as many references to them both being gladiators as possible. Said it doesn't matter if he's 35, 45 or 105, he lives by the spear. And this isn't a Coliseum, it's Chicago. And he's Goldberg. So you're next. You're just saying words next to each other. MVP then mouthed off to Sundberg, who was at ringside. Calm down, Sundberg, keep your shirt on. Which made me excited Bobby and MVP might do a beatdown angle to give this feud some much needed emotional motivation. But Goldberg just speared MVP instead. I am not into this feud. The show then cut to Drew McIntyre's penis backstage and Corey saying, "Look at the size of Drew McIntyre's sword." Showing. Proving they're just big Bollywood boys, 16-time world champion Drew then almost easily beat both Veer and Shanky in a handicap match, but Jinder Mahal caused the DQ. The heels all got chairs, but then Drew pulled out a f***ing sword. The heels understandably ran away because McIntyre could kill them.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
Rhea Ripley then beat Nia Jax in a pretty good match for the time they were given, where they crammed loads of near falls and Nia getting busted open hard way into just 5 minutes of action. Shayna Baszler botched her interference Reginald style, letting Ripley get the roll-up win, prompting Baszler to storm off afterwards, while Rhea hit a very tiny riptide on Jax. It was more of a lazy river. Perhaps Baszler and Nia are finally over as a team, which might have been the only thing protecting Shayna on the main roster. The crowd came genuinely alive next for Ali, with the Chicago hometown boy getting a full-on "he was born in the same place I was" reaction. So, obviously, Mason T-Bar beat him and Mansoor in a few minutes in a pointless rematch of their loss last week. There were some nice details here though, with Mansoor accidentally causing the loss, and then Ali sacrificing himself for his new friend afterwards. With Natalya injured, Tamina beat Doudrop in a singles match for Alexa Bliss to appear on screen afterwards to say, "And the winner is Eva Marie." This led to Doudrop and Eva attacking Bliss backstage afterwards, and then Lily, the inanimate doll, stood up by itself once they'd left. Bray Wyatt was released, so this could live. I think WWE thinks Damian Priest is a cool Playboy-style character going by Riddle's promo. But he's not, unfortunately. He comes off pretty lame with his stand-up-to-bullies generic rhetoric, which is probably why the audience chanted for CM Punk in his Miz TV segment here. It wasn't against Priest as a person, it was against WWE booking for being bad. It turned into a match where Priest beat Morrison, which itself turned into a match where Priest and Ricochet beat Sheamus and Morrison. Ricochet had a fun spot where he slid into the steel steps on a wet floor drip drip. The WWE 2K sponsorship has begun, with this year's advertising slogan being, "It hits different," which is a whole marketing campaign pretty much saying, it's not as bad as the last one. As an extra promotional tie-in, it also looks like they're using a computer-generated version of Goldberg for the SummerSlam match graphic, because that looks nothing like the real human person. I expected Riddle vs Omos in the Tall Guy's second ever singles match to be more angle than wrestling, especially with AJ Styles weirdly not out there with him. AJ Styles released, confirmed. Riddle hit a flurry of offense to start, but Omos just chucked him around to win. The Tall Guy was booked pretty well here, again not taking a single full bump. But despite being advertised locally to sell tickets, there was still no Randy Orton from out of nowhere. Randy Orton release confirmed. Commentary reminded us all how much better Keith Lee was last year, beating Orton in his pay-per-view debut on Payback. And thankfully they recaptured a little bit of that appeal here. Karrion Kross impressively threw Lee around, including into the steel steps, but Keith powered back for a great spirit bomb to win, which the crowd popped for massively. I can't wait to see Lee versus Jeff Hardy now for the NXT title. Reginald cut a promo explaining his accent and new name, Reggie, and then beat Akira Tozawa by jumping. His character and story seems to have shifted from lucky escapologist to guy who's an actual wrestler now, which hasn't that neatly been told. WWE also appeared to have grown even more bored of the underlying 24/7 title concept, with it now being defended in actual matches instead of everywhere else. To set up the main event, Charlotte Flair cut a strange, overly long promo about Simone Biles' Olympic withdrawal that didn't really connect to anything. Awkward pop culture reference check. And then said how annoyed she is that everyone cashes in their Money in the Bank shots on her, while struggling to pick out weapons from under the ring. She made tonight's match a no-holds-barred stipulation, and almost a superhero Nikki ASH attacked her from behind like a morally good babyface. I really enjoyed their actual match thanks to a great crowd and some intense action, but it again felt like they were telling the wrong story. Charlotte came across like a badass tweener, destroying almost a superhero Nikki ASH for 9/10 of the match, getting out a table when the crowd were chanting for it, charging almost a superhero Nikki ASH ASH through the barricade and powerbombing her through the announcer's table. In fact, almost a superhero Nikki ASH didn't even beat Charlotte. Charlotte did, missing almost a superhero Nikki ASH with a spear and going through a table. Almost a superhero Nikki ASH then hit her new finisher, a draping swinging neckbreaker to win, which is better than a top rope crossbody. What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below and vote in our poll on a poll match on the community tab, where 70% of you have gone for CM Punk. CM Punk. CM Punk. While the Punk and Wyatt chants and artificial crowd noise were embarrassing for WWE, this episode didn't actually do anything actively bad. And isn't that the benchmark for success with WWE these days? That they don't do anything to actively ruin their own wrestlers? The fans were great, the in-ring action was decent. By this year's standards, this week's Raw is 3 out of 5. The next few months are set to be some of the most exciting in wrestling for years, with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan to AEW maybe, Juventud Guerrera, and SummerSlam coming up. But far bigger is our news that for SummerSlam week, we're all heading back into the office for live reactions and podcasts in person once more. To celebrate the real biggest return of the year, new annual backers on our Patreon can now get 2 whole months free, where you get access to all of our exclusive podcast episodes, the special monthly Fan Quizlemanias, video calls with us, entry into Wrestle League and more. You've only got until the end of August to do it though, so click the link below now. There's never been a better time to become a pledge hammer.
Who left a King Pot Noodle original curry flavour in the office, which expired in July 2020, which is amazing. I didn't think pot noodles.
Neither did I.
Right, okay.
That might be the first pot noodle that's ever gone off.